Hey guys, today I'm doing another review, and this is going to be on a very well-known game called League of Legends, or League for short. Anyways, League is a special case for my reviews because it's online and competitive. So, I'm going to have to talk about balance at some point, but I'll do that last because it's a touchy subject. Before that, I'll do graphics, and even before that, I'll do gameplay, so let's get on with it. The gameplay in League is inconsistent to say the least. On some champions, like for example Riven, is incredibly smooth and enjoyable, and on others, it's just clunky. Thankfully though, Riot has weeded out most of these characters that are clunky and just overall unfun, but there are still exceptions to this. The gameplay itself is incredibly complex, having innumerable mechanics. Let me list off as many as I can from the top of my head, just to give you an idea. There are towers, tower plates, minions, minion types, wave control, last hitting, and even champion matchups. The spells and abilities in this game feel very good to land. Characters such as Lux or Darius have some of the most fun moves to land in the game. These moves can keep you playing even if you're losing the game. Most League spells, however, have an emphasis on skill. This is normally showcased through projectiles that you have to aim and move slowly, but they only deal damage if you're actually able to land it on another champion. Because of this, they earn the name skill shots, for obvious reasons. Skill shots are probably my favorite type of spell in the game. I really enjoy using them, and they are especially fun to use when fighting new players. This is because new players dodge predictably, and it makes it easy to line up shots on them. This does tend to make a gap between good and bad players, which can be frustrating when you feel like everyone on your team is worse than all the people on the enemy team, but you think you're better than the entire enemy team. This commonly gets you a feeling called salt. In League, salt is very common and will frequently be expressed in alien-like words in chat towards your teammates, or you. Jokes aside, League is a game that can be frustrating at times, but the drive to get better in this competitive game almost always outweighs the desire to quit. Learning League takes a very long time, especially with all the mechanics to master. I do not recommend this to the faint of heart because League is a big boy game. Most people find themselves enjoying the game most when sticking to a single character, though people do tend to have a side main, or a character that you play when you don't want to or can't play your character. Like for example, when they're banned. Banning is both my favorite and least favorite part of the game. Everyone bans a character before you get to choose a character. If someone bans your character, which evidently makes you upset, but you also get to ban a character, which if you hate a character or champion, this mechanic will wipe them from the face of the earth, making the game much more enjoyable. This also makes the game seem just a little bit more fair. League has a leveling system. I'm not going to go into much detail, but for those who are interested, at the beginning of each round you start at level 1, and it goes up to level 18. Each level gives you bonus stats and better or new abilities. Many things in the game give gold. Gold can be used to get more powerful by buying items. This, many times, will cause the character to snowball or get a lot stronger. If this is you, you feel great. I personally love destroying people when I'm way stronger than them, and, of course, easily win the rest of the game. But when the enemy is doing this, it is one of the most unfair feelings that can happen. Most people have a love-hate relationship with the game, but will try to have more fun playing the game by inviting friends. Because the game's free, Riot, people who made the game, had decided very early on that the game would not be pay to win. So they had to think of a way to make money that didn't involve buffing a player. So they added skins for ungodly prices that are so good you still buy them anyways just to flex on your opponents and even your teammates. Which brings me to my next point, the graphics. The graphics in this game are subpar at best. They aren't anything amazing and are not meant to be so. The graphics are good enough for you to still feel immersed, and they aren't any Final Fantasy VII. Abilities and skins especially have really well done effects. You don't really notice that the graphics aren't amazing until you look closely with an alternative camera, so you'll hardly notice. The map itself is actually very well made. They sneak a lot of details all over, like dragons in the background and wildlife hidden all over. Whenever your character enters the brush, they become slightly transparent. This is one of my favorite graphical features because it really helps you tell that you're actually in the brush and not next to it, which is a very common mistake. Another thing that League executes well in the graphics department is the fog of war. The time that it takes for the enemy's models to disappear is both very smooth and not breaking the game's very little immersion that a MOBA can give you. Every character in League has a portrait, also known as a splash art. These splash arts are hyper-realistic, and every skin has its own unique one too. These splash arts also appear at the bottom left of your UI, or user interface, and appears on the map to show your character. Which is another thing that's actually good in League, is the UI. The map in the bottom right is very simplistic and clear. This allows you to easily tell what's going on at first glance. This especially helps when you're in a tense situation and need to quickly look at your map to see if you're in danger of a gank. The animations in this game are also very clear unless you're playing against an old character. If the move is in an animation before going out, you will know exactly what move is going to happen. The abilities are very different in appearance, easily allowing you to distinguish each one from each other. Each character or skin line has their own colored effects and shapes just to make it more clear. Some characters or skins have hard to see abilities or bright effects to make it more clear. Some characters or skins have hard to see abilities or bright effects that can make them unfair to play against, and are obviously banned in competitive play. Which brings me to my next and final point, the character balance. The balance in this game is not anything amazing. Certain characters that you would think should be good aren't good, but other characters that you also think should be good and obviously can be good are not good due to game balance being skewed. For example, Garen, which is a super easy character, and Misfortune are both some of the best characters in the game, while other characters that are way harder are worse just because Riot doesn't want them to be. If you don't know what I mean by balance, it's the difference in power or overall effectiveness of characters. So, the characters that are good are both easy and have a lot of skins, and can you really blame them for doing that? I know that imbalance is good for a game because for some unknown reason, people play the game less when the best player always wins. Who knew? Though some characters have weaknesses, most of the best ones seem to have no downside in sight. In fact, a lot of the good ones are good throughout the entirety of the game, while other characters fluctuate throughout the whole game. Whenever there is a character who is strong through the whole game, they're almost always hard, and are eventually nerfed into the ground. But some of these characters are able to slip through the cracks every once in a while. A commonly brought up unbalanced character is Akali. Akali is a balance anomaly because if she's fair, the people who like her will be mad because they want her to be better, and if she's good, the people who don't like her want her to be worse and get mad. Poor for the developers, I guess. Just because I'm talking about the balance in such a bad light doesn't mean it's not tolerable. I still play this game regularly in my free time, and crappy balance isn't going to hold me back. Overall, I think that League is an amazing competitive game. It's fun and rewarding, and is amazing with friends. Though it might be lacking in a few departments, it still holds up as one of the most, if not most popular games in the world. And it will always stay that way. Thanks to anyone who made it to the end of the video. A reminder that everything I said in this video is my opinion and does not have to be anyone else's. But I will still love to see your guys' ideas on the game in the comments. And without further ado, please not also comment, but like and subscribe. I hope you all have a good day.